Okay, everybody. I started the recording, and as you can see, I'm not Joseph Pecoraro. My name is Neva Kosmicki, and I'm a health coach living in Plano, Texas. And I'm going to host tonight, as Dr. Joe and Rhonda are still in Kenya on a missions trip. But I think we have a fun night tonight planned, and I'm hoping everybody's ready to participate because we have some good topics, I think, to participate in. So I want to go ahead, and the first thing I want to know, I don't think so because I think I know everybody on the call, but just want to check, are there any new health coaches tonight on the call that have never been introduced before? Anybody? Anybody on the phone? Let me see. Don't think there's anybody new. Okay. All right. And those of you on the phone, feel free to chime in when we are looking for some discussion here. So let's go ahead then, and as we always do on these calls, we talk about what events are coming up. And so I know of a couple, and Karen and Beth and Donnie, if you would chime in if there's some others that I'm missing. So the first one I know about is tomorrow night. There is a live trilogy presentation. It's going to be hosted by Becca and Kevin Tinter. And
Neva?
Yes?
Is it tomorrow night or is it Thursday night?
Oh, it is Thursday night.
Yeah, Thursday
night. Only Tuesday. Thank you. Yes, it is Thursday night. I'm a little ahead of myself this week. So what's the date? That is the 11th, just to be safe. Okay, Thursday the 11th. And Becca and Kevin Tinter. And I believe that's 9 o'clock Eastern time. Does that sound right? Okay, thanks, Karen. And the Zoom link for that is out on the TSFL Power Winners site, and so you can find that, and you can invite people. It's a great way to get some people, give them a chance to hear about the program from some people that are very comfortable talking about it. So that would be a good way to start. Okay. I also put a posting out there. Not many of you are in the Texas area, but I put our August posting out for our Healthy Happy Hour that's going to be on August 27th. And so are there any other events coming up this month? Beth?
There's going to be, and let's see, Donnie and Kathy and Karen Ragsdale and Diane will want to know about this. On August 28th at Elevate Yoga, which is a yoga studio that a coach on my team, Ray Perez, co-owns. We're going to do a trilogy presentation. And what we thought we would do, because in the Orlando area we've been doing a monthly training event, we thought since this is going to be on a Sunday, August 28th, that we should make this the whole trilogy, you know, the presentation, the health coach presentation, and then training. Do it all together, all of us, because I know not everyone's going to make 2 Sundays in a row for training. So anyway, I will get this posted on our Facebook group, but it will be August 28th. Elevate Yoga is on South Orange Avenue in Orlando, just right south downtown, and it will be at 3 in the afternoon, which is when we've been doing ours anyway. And so this would be for all clients, coaches, potential clients, potential coaches, and it'll be great. So anyway, so that's August 28th. So that's my one announcement.
Great. So we got one on a Saturday, we got one on a Sunday, different states. Okay. Anybody else have some other events coming up that we want to let people know about? Okay. All right. And I see we're getting more and more people joining us here in the room. So welcome those of you who have come in a little bit late. And what I wanted to talk about tonight is something that we haven't had a chance to talk about since we got back from convention, but it was announced at convention. And it's something that's always a lot of fun. And, you know, every year the company does an incentive trip. And for those of you who like the idea of maybe getting a free trip somewhere, I think you want to listen up and find out a little bit more about this. And Donnie's going to share what those incentive trips are all about. Donnie?
Yes. So this year, the incentive trip is going to be to Costa Rica. And yes. And I had the opportunity to attend the incentive trip just this past year. And that was so exciting. I've got to be honest, these incentive trips never really were a motivator for me. You know, I never really worked to achieve it. And it didn't draw my attention. But let me tell you, now that I've experienced it, I don't know that I want to miss another one. Because it gave me this little glimpse of what life looks like to not worry about money. That was a very interesting experience, you know, because the company picked me up at home, took me to the airport, put me on a plane, pick me from the airport. You know, I didn't have to worry about one thing. And, you know, these are little minor details that you really don't think about, but it made me think, you know, this is what I want every day to look like, you know, not have to worry about the details, not worry about, can I afford the trip to San Diego or to Costa Rica or to wherever? Not because the money is important, but just because, you know, I want to enjoy life. And that was a very different dynamic. And so one of the things that I absolutely love about Take Shape for Life is that it rewards us. You know, our goal with our clients is not to help them lose weight. Our goal is to help them be healthy, right? Mm-hmm. So in the process of getting healthy, we lose weight and we keep it off, right? It's just so amazing how it all works together for this ultimate goal. And Take Shape for Life does such an amazing job at rewarding us for helping people get healthy. Mm-hmm. And so if you want to attend this trip, it's simply a matter of being intentional, of helping people. That is how simple it is. Just be intentional about helping people. Set your goals. And so what they're doing is you earn points for different things that you do for building your business. You earn points for acquiring a client. You earn points for starting a client that orders the Optavia kit. You earn points for starting a coach. You earn points for maintaining your rank. You earn points. So I'm not going into all of the details of how many points and for what, but what I can tell you is that every single thing that you can do to build your business, they will reward you for that with points. And the people that attend the trip are going to be the 150 coach teams that have the highest point numbers. So this year they haven't listed like a minimum, you know, you have to have X amount of points before you can attend. They're simply saying, have at it, guys. And whoever gets the most points, the top 150 are going to go. And so what I've got to tell you is that it's absolutely worth it. You know, not necessarily for the idea of, you know, I'm going to win a trip. Woohoo! And one of the things I absolutely love about Take Shape for Life is that it's not about cars and it's not about, you know, it's not about that. But it's so rewarding to do what we do. And the fact that they reward us even on top of that, you know, with a trip, with the opportunity of hanging out with people that we absolutely love hanging out with, is just a cherry on top. And I would absolutely love it for all of us that are on the Zoom to plan a date by the pool. So, you know, Kathy was on the incentive trip this past year. What did you enjoy about it, Kathy?
It was just awesome being around people, like-minded people that our goal is to help other people get healthy. Yeah. And the energy, you know, the energy, opportunity to network was my first time. So I was able to meet people from different parts of the country. Yeah. It was awesome.
Awesome.
Fantastic. Well,
so we have a date, right? April 20th, Costa Rica.
Be there. Thank you. Beth's got a question, Donnie.
Donnie, maybe you were going to say this, but everyone can go to Coach Connection in their Office in Motion, and you can get the details. And I think there are a couple of videos on the details of the incentive trip and what you need to do. So
yes, yeah. You can either go to Coach Connection or even on your dashboard. When you go into your Office in Motion, there's a big old section to find out how many points you've earned. And when you click on there, they have the training videos and they'll fill you in on every specific detail. And so I highly encourage you to watch those so that you can be intentional about those numbers. Okay. It's about helping people, but we've got to have the numbers so that we can help people. So watch the video so that you know exactly what you're working towards.
Great. And for anybody that, even after you read the section in Office in Motion or watch the videos, if you have questions, just get with your health coach and they can help explain it. And as Donnie says, be intentional. That means really thinking about what you have to do to get there and the different ways that you can do it. So there's a lot to it. We're not going to go into all the detail, but we sure wanted you to know that what a fun thing this would be. And Donnie's right. It's really a lot of fun. I've been on them. I didn't get to go last year, but I went 2 previous years. And it is a lot of fun to get to go with people that you know, as well as people that you don't know, and meet new people. So let's all be there, all right? All right. I want to go ahead to our next topic. And first of all, for those of you who either didn't get the message or just didn't have time last night, you know, Monday night is our leadership call. And we're back to our routine path of what we did for Monday nights before convention. And that is, we all log on to the leadership call. It's only a 15-minute call. Dr. Anderson leads these. And he hits just some highlights for 15 minutes. And then we break into 2 paths. One path is called the new coach starting point, and that's basically the Zoom that you watch for if you are a new coach, and really just up to a senior coach. So brand new coaches and up to senior coaches. And then the other path is really training for anybody senior coach and beyond. That doesn't mean that you can't sit in on the starting point or the other one either. You can watch them, and the videos are going to be available for both of those. But last night, I just want to take a minute to talk about, since we got back to that. So first of all, we had the Monday night leadership call with Dr. Anderson, about 15 minutes. Was anybody on that last night besides me? Anybody remember? Okay. Do you remember, or what was it that you picked up from what Dr. Anderson said in those 15 minutes? Does anybody remember? Diane? Diane, you're muted.
Sorry.
There you go.
I thought it was great that he talked about always having the Optavia guide with you, and you never know when you might want to pull it out. So take it with you everywhere you go. Yep.
Beautiful. He held it up, and it was just like, okay. So everybody needs to be looking at that. And the first new client that I had that had gotten this new book, I had to stop and think, okay, wait a minute. The Lean and Green isn't on page 5 now; it's on page 19. Kind of had to, take a look at it again. So excellent. Karen, were you going to add to that?
I just wanted to say one of the things that I wrote down that Dr. A said were the 2 key parameters of being a health coach, which are really empathy and compassion. And those are just 2 so important goals that we want to have in our life, and to be able to share that. And I love that. So I highlighted that, and so that was really great.
Beautiful. Okay. Beth, did you have something else? Yeah.
The one thing I noticed, which I think is really cool about Dr. Anderson, is he had his little booklet, and as he was showing it and going, isn't this so cool? What's on page 3? You know how he does that? But he had so many things underlined throughout this whole thing. Key points, key words, which made me go, wow, that's very cool. And that's something we should probably all do, so that we are much more familiar with what's in here. But anyway, that I just noticed that because he held up his own personal, guide and had all these underlines everywhere. It was pretty cool. So it was a good call.
That is cool.
Yeah.
And just think that was just that was just 15 short minutes, and that wasn't even the whole part of it. He had David Bush on talking about tips. So just in that, we've scoped this down to just 15 minutes, and look at all that we've already talked about and things that you can pick up in that short period of time. So I just wanted to let everybody know it's worthwhile to make sure you get on that Monday night call. Then when we break apart and go into the 2 separate groups, The first one is that new coach starting point. And as I said, that's the one for brand new coaches and up to senior coaches. And I wasn't on that one last night. How many were on that last night? Anyone in this room? Raise your hand if you were. One. Who else? Diane, you were? Okay. PJ, were you?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, good. And Susie, were you? Susie, she said, no, she was not. Okay. All right. So what we want to talk about is what you heard or what you learned from that call, the starting point call. So PJ, Diane, anything you remember that you want to share with the group that you heard?
My notes are in the other room.
Okay.
I took lots of notes. They're in the other room.
Okay, well, let's see if Diane has any ideas, and maybe it'll trigger your memory. Diane, anything you remember? No. Okay. All right. Well, Beth was also on the call. So Beth, help us out. What was covered in that call?
All right, I'll help out. But you know what? I am going to say this goes to show that sometimes we all need to watch things a couple times and then really take notes. And that's the good thing about having these leadership calls recorded. And just since we're talking about the recording, where you go to find those is in your Office in Motion. And you go to your Resources tab. There's a drop-down menu, and you click on Leadership Calls. And so you can get the recordings. And it's not up yet. I guess it's coming up tonight maybe, or later tonight. But anyway, I stayed on that call. Even though I'm not a new health coach, I stayed on the call, and it was hosted by JC Dornick, who's an integrated presidential, and Lisa Castro, integrated presidential. I mean, these two are fabulous certified health coaches. They're phenomenal. But this was all about the starting point of conversation as a new coach, because this is something really different from what new coaches, when we all started off, have ever done. And each one of them, Lisa and JC, started off with their own stories, which was so powerful. And that's how they start, because they've come from a place too where that potential client can relate to them. So they were really illustrating the power of sharing your story. So I encourage you all to definitely go listen to that, so you'll get really good, what do I want to say, an example of really how to put together your story and share it. And then they talked about, it's the importance of, it's asking questions. It's not about being a fire hose of information about how great this program is, and oh my gosh, and you got to do it, and you can lose weight so fast, and yada yada yada. But it's about asking questions. And what resonated with me was, I think this was Lisa who said, it's not about selling and telling, it's about sharing and caring. So that's what we want to do as health coaches, is we want to know where this client is coming from. We want to know what their goals are and why. We want to know what it means in their lives, what it is they're really looking for, and show that we really care about them. And then once we know all these things about that person, then we can share the details of what we have that can help them achieve what it is that they want to achieve. So I just would say, there was so much in it. It was so fantastic. I need to listen to it again. But the big takeaways were the power of your story. And then also the, like my very first boss in business used to say to me, he goes, Beth, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen, ask questions and listen, and care about that person, and then go ahead and share what it is you have that can help them. So those were just some, but I got to tell you, everybody should watch it. It was that fantastic.
Wow.
It was excellent. Yeah.
I guess we lucked out that you stayed on that one last night, Beth. Thank you.
Really by accident, but I'm glad I did. So
yeah.
It was good.
So PJ or Diane, did that trigger anything for you? Anything you want to add?
To really sit down and kind of write your story out so that you know it well, so that it's an easy thing to share.
That's a good idea.
And sharing and caring. And focusing on the needs of the other person, of the client, rather than just focusing on their needs.
As opposed to your own and thinking about what you're going to say, right? Okay.
Right.
Great. Okay. Diane, did that trigger something for you?
Well, it was kind of the same thing that they said, you know, you have to really listen for the why and figure out the why, because they might be saying, well, you know, it's about my kids or whatever, but you have to really get down to why, what's their reason why they want to do something about their health.
Okay. Great. Well, and we'll let you know when that recording is up. I called right before this meeting and they said they were in the process of putting the recording up, so we should see it shortly. And what they do is usually what they've done in the past before convention is they always have the leadership call and the starting point new coach call recording together. So it should be out there for you. And I think we're all going to have to go watch it based on what Beth said. It sounds like it was really good. So thank you, everybody, for giving us some insight on that call. And then the other path was the one that is just referred to as the coach training. And then that is really for senior coaches and above. But again, you know, there's nothing wrong with jumping back and forth and hearing from different ones, or if you have time to listen to the recordings. So was there anybody that was on the call last night for the training? Everybody mute themselves? John, can you mute yourself? Somebody, there's some, feedback there. Okay. Was there anybody on the call last night for the coach training? The topic was how to do a quality share. Anybody that wants to give some feedback on that one? I'm still getting some feedback. John or Donna, I think it's on your end.
Did you shut yourself, John?
Okay, John's down, but you're still up, Donna. I'm still hearing it. Mute for just a minute, Donna, and let's see if it's you.
Just mute yourself.
Yeah, I hate to tell you, but it was at your end, Donna, and you were probably going to talk to me too. So, was there anybody besides the Greenmans on the call last night that has something to share? No? Okay. Susie, you said you got on the wrong call, but I don't think you can talk. Is that right? Do you want to respond to me in chat? Okay, I'll tell you what, guys, I'm going to go ahead, and I ended up staying on that call, so I'll share a little bit, and then if anybody else has anything, you can chime in. And Donna, if you wanted to respond on that, if you want to try again to pop in here and see if we've got rid of that feedback, that's okay. So, well, let me just tell you a little bit more about what it was about. The topic was how to do a quality share. And it was hosted by Charlene Green and Dan Valentine. And they really packed a lot in the one. It was about an hour. It was about a full hour, not 45 minutes. And one of the things that struck me while Beth was talking about the other call is the similarities with this one, maybe a little bit more advanced when you talk about a share. Versus telling your story and the part about listening instead of talking. But they did breakdown of, there's a little graph to show what you should be, how much time should be spent when you're doing a share, doing different things. And the majority of the time, she estimated it was about 65% of the time. So however much time you've got for doing your share, about 65% of it should be where you are trying to help them identify their why. And that was interesting. That's a lot of time, guys. Look at a graph, and if you get a chance, we'll make this one available when it's when that recording's available too. But just think about a graph and figure out 65% of that. That's how much time you are just trying to find out from them and help them identify their why. You're not spending all that time telling them about our program, about our products, how they taste, how you fix them, all that stuff. We're just trying to figure out what it is that they really want. And that is, I think that's a big eye-opener for a lot of people, because that was a lot of time. And the other thing that I wanted to make sure that people knew is that, you know, before convention, and I know we've even said it on this call, we used to talk about that there were 3 components to our program. And after convention, we now talk about 4 components. So we divided one of them. So as you look at literature or materials or talk to people, you want to think in terms of 4 components now, not just 3. So who can name the 4 components for me? Who can name one of the components for me? Or all 4? Unmute yourself and tell me.
I can do that.
Okay.
The first is accountability of your personal health coach. The second would be the support community that you're building for yourself.
Okay.
The third would be the habits of health system, and the fourth would be our nutrition plans.
Okay. And who's talking?
Karen Ragsdale.
Hi, Karen. Okay, just want to make sure everybody knew who's talking. Okay, and that nutrition support that you're talking about at the end, is that also referred to as the fuelings?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. So did everybody get those? So what we really divided, I think, that we used to group together was the health coach and the community together. And I always thought that wasn't fair, because I think the health coach is really there from the beginning to the end and every week. You want to involve the community as soon as possible, because that gives you a lot of support. But it's real clear now that there's 4 distinct components. So I really like that part. Karen, were you on the call last night?
No, I was not.
Okay. Karen Marshall, were you on the call last night?
No, I wasn't on the call last night.
Okay.
Just on the first part, like what I talked about.
Gotcha. Okay. Was there anybody else that was on the training call last night besides me? Donna, you want to try again?
All right. How's that?
That's better.
Okay. Yes. I thought it was a great trading call. It was a lot similar to the starting one, but it also went into some details on some things. I think they made it really, really simple to make a share. It was very interesting the way they did it, very natural. And I wanted to point out that one of the biggest things I got out of it last night was this cost thing. I'm very guilty of feeling like this is a lot of money with the people I talk to. And Dan made it pretty clear that if you think that, you're projecting that. So you really need to get your head in order about that. And the way that he worked it was, fuelings you spend very little time on. It's the last thing that you cover. And it's just merely mentioning that, you know, they're the foods available and not going into a lot of detail about it, but how you use them. But the cost thing, he said, just goes away. The questions about cost go away if you don't focus on it and just focus on all the components of the program and have your head straight about what you do. And he said he doesn't even mention the cost of the program unless the client does, basically. When he sets them up to order their kit or whatever, he just waits for them to ask questions about it. So I just thought that was really exciting. I liked it.
Okay, good. I saw a lot of heads nodding on that one. So either people have had to experience that, or they've heard it, that if you have those feelings about cost, you're passing that along. So good. There was one other that I thought was pretty cool. When you're going through and you're finding out, you're going through the complete share and you're finding out about their why, and you've asked them and you've asked, like you ask the question again and you get a little bit deeper and so on and so forth. Finally, when you get to the point, when you get to the part about you haven't told them about our program yet, you ask permission. Okay, may I tell you about our program now? And of course, the person's sitting there going, yeah, I've been waiting. So you've got them on the edge of their seat. And I thought that was pretty cool because they got them ready now. So that was another one that I liked. So it's like, I haven't forgotten. I'm just, first I ask permission, can I ask you about your health, and go through everything, and then ask finally about if they can share the program. Shirley, what was that? Do you want me to read this, Shirley, or can you come online? I'll just read it. Dan said, if the people say it is too expensive, then you didn't spend enough time on their why. That's right. I remember hearing that as well. So, because if you spend enough time on their why and they feel so strong about why they need this and why they are talking to you and doing this, it doesn't matter. But then they did admit, I think Charlene did admit at the end, that there are some people on some budgets, and if the answer is they just can't do it right now, then they can go on your list and follow-up list from there. But another good call. And so there were some similarities between the brand new coach call and this one, just a little bit more in depth on this one. Anybody else have anything to add on that call? Any questions? Diane, yeah.
Going back to the other call for new coaches, and one of the things that they really emphasized was the team coaching and bringing your coach in to have those first conversations. And after you get someone interested, then you want to ask them if you can have a call with your coach to explain it more and answer all their questions. Okay, good. And thank you for sharing that, because actually when they were talking about the 4 components in the second training, not only did they say the health coach, but they had 2 little figures there, 2 little people, and they said it's the health coach and the health coach's health coach. So you kind of get 2 for 1 because we do team training. So again, there was a semblance of the same in the second call as well. Very interesting. That's the first time we've done it and truly compared one call to the other. So I'm glad that we did that. That was interesting tonight. Okay. Any last questions or comments for tonight? Well, I appreciate everybody getting on. And next week, Dr. Joe and Rhonda should be back. And we'll host from there. But again, thank you, everybody. And I'll put this recording up on the page. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Neva.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, Neva.
You're welcome.